Hi everyone, welcome to Hiroshi's Aloha Kitchen. I'm Wally, and this channel is a tribute to my dad and his incredible journey into the culinary world. His current generation of friends know him for his bonsai skills, but not his culinary expertise, and I would like to showcase that side of him along with sharing his recipes with all of you. Today we'll be making Spanish rice, Hiroshi style. It's a distant relative to Mexican or the Spanish rice you all know. So like Mexican rice is fluffy and has a reddish orange color to it, and the Spanish rice has more of a yellowish color and is slightly stickier than the Mexican rice. The Spanish rice dish we will be making today is more tomato sauce based. The ingredients we'll be using today is black pepper, salt, but you can use any salt you want. You can use like the table salt. I'm just using like a fine grained sea salt, but table salt's fine. 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 7-ounce can of a tomato paste, 1 medium to large-ish round onion. I like to use sweet onions, but obviously just any onion will do. About a pound of hamburger meat. Dad always liked to use a like ground chuck or ground round, but I'm just using like an 80-20 ground beef. Get it from Costco. It's relatively inexpensive. You can use, you can get as fancy as you want. You can use Angus meat and whatever, but it doesn't matter. I just use this. And also 3 cups of rice, and that's it. So we're gonna start with getting this rice cooked. I suggest washing the rice. It removes some of the excess starch, which sometimes that excess starch prevents the rice from getting that stickiness to it. You can also check it for debris. Sometimes you'll see these little black like rock things in there. I think if you bite into it, you'll probably break your teeth. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this rice washed and get into the rice cooker. If you don't have a rice cooker, you can also cook your rice on the stove top, and the ratio would be normally your ratio is like 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. But today we're gonna cut that back because we're gonna be adding the rice into a sauce, into a tomato-based sauce. So we'll have the rice a little drier. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna use about I'm going to say about 1 cup of rice to 1 1/4 cup of water. So that's going to be, let's see, it's going to be 3 cups of rice to 3 3/4 cups of water. Okay, so now that I've got the rice in the rice cooker and we started cooking it, let's go ahead and start cutting the onion. So we're going to take this onion and we're just going to dice this onion up. We're going to cut this onion in half. We're going to take a dice. Now, I know like some people when I was at the restaurant I worked at in college, the chef would take the onion and he would just cut slits this way, and then he would cut it across here and then start chopping it and dicing it. I could never do it that way. It just never worked out for me. And really, I could dice up the onion just as fast doing it this way. So I'll get these onions diced up. So now that we got all of our onions cut up, we'll just set it off to the side of the cutting board. Next, we'll cook the meat. So over a medium-high heat, we'll just add the hamburger. You don't have to add any oil or anything because you'll have enough oil and grease, whatever comes off of the hamburger. So yeah, no oil, just throw it right in your pot. I'm cooking the hamburger in a non-stick wok over a medium-high heat. If I had more time, I would cook the hamburger meat in my cast iron skillet. The hamburger that gets stuck to the bottom of the skillet, that is called fond. And that, along with the oil from the meat, can make a really good beef broth. And all you really need to do is real simple. All you need to do is to remove the hamburger after it's done cooking from the skillet, add some water, some white wine, or not if you don't like cooking with alcohol, some salt, pepper, and whatever else you'd like. You can add celery, onions, garlic, anything. Just bring it up to a boil, then simmer it, strain it, and let it sit overnight in the fridge. Next morning you can scrape off all the fat and you'll have a nice beef broth to use for another dish in the future. So anyway, hey, you don't want any clumps of meat, so you need to break up the hamburger really well. You want that hamburger to mix well into the sauce and blend nicely when you add the rice. I had a meat smasher thing years ago that worked really well. It had a long handle and like 4 or 5 plastic blades at the end. It worked great for breaking up like ground meats, potatoes to make mashed potatoes, avocados if you want to make some guac, etc. Right? I don't know what happened to mine, but you can buy those things on Amazon and they only cost $5 or $6. I never replaced mine because I'm trying to minimize my stuff, not maximize my stuff, right? But one tip, if you do use one of those things, or if you buy one and you decide to use it, spray with like spray cooking oil like Pam, and the ground meat won't stick to it. So we're gonna cook this hamburger meat just to about where it's about 3/4 of the way done. Then we'll drain all this, see all this grease and fat oil. We're gonna drain that out. You don't want that in there in your mix or in your sauce. What that does is it'll start to make that rice a little oily, maybe turn it into a little mushy. So this meat's pretty much done. I'm gonna go ahead and drain this out.
Also, for this next part, don't use aluminum, cast iron, or carbon steel cookware because the tomato sauce can cause a metallic taste. Use like stainless steel, ceramic, or a coated type of cookware.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and turn the heat down now that we got our hamburger back into our pot and drained. We're gonna just turn our heat down, put it down to a simmer, and add in all of our ingredients.
7-ounce can of tomato paste, and a good trick here is to open both sides of the tomato paste can, and then that way we can just push the tomato paste out. Next, 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and we'll just use the same can to measure out our 8 ounces of water. Our onions, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and a tablespoon of salt, and that's it. So we'll get the we'll turn the heat up and mix these ingredients all together, and then we'll get this to about a medium to a medium high boil. Then we'll turn the heat down to a simmer and let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. All right, now that we have our sauce at about a medium boil, I'm just going to turn the heat down to simmer. Give this a quick stir, and then we'll just let it sit and simmer for about 20-30 minutes, something like that. Now that our sauce is done simmering, it's time to add the rice. So I just add in a few scoops of rice at a time and mix it, versus putting the whole 3 cups of rice in the sauce. It's so much easier doing it this way. So I'll get all this rice mixed up, and we'll get in a serving dish and we'll take a look.
Ah, check it out, the finished product. Doesn't this look great? I can't wait to taste it. We'll give this a little quick taste test here. Oh yeah, broke them out. And if you don't believe me, I have a special guest today, the world's most pickiest eater, my little girl Faye. And come here, Faye, give this a try.
Hey guys. Good.
Yeah?
I ate it all.
Yeah, fire, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, so give this recipe a try and tell me what you think in the comments section. I will have all the ingredients listed below along with the quantities. So mahalo for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Aloha.